to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are streaming on all social media platforms like Keys to the City. So subscribe, comment, share, or like. I want to quote a legendary rapper because today, and I'm going to fine tune it a little bit. The man, as he says, today was a good day, but I'm fine tuning it. Today is a good day. Why? No, it's not about the Yankees. We'll get into that again. We talked about it last Friday, and maybe we should retract on that statement that maybe the bullpen is an issue, as I was saying. No, today's a good day because the boys of fall are officially underway. Football training camp is underway. Teams are coming back. Players are coming back. It's a great feeling to see that football is right around the corner. And also breaking news that Oklahoma and Texas should be in the SEC by 2025. That was breaking news on ESPN, so I might as well say that. NCAA will be gone. It'll be a big Power 5 conference, and that's it. That's all it's going to be. Goodbye.
So 4 more years.
Yeah, so 4 more years. What do you expect? Do you think it was going to be next year? Nah, it doesn't play like that. You got to wait another 4 more years. I'll be 30-something. I'll be 32 years old by the time that happens. Great. Can't wait. But let's start off. We talked about it last Friday, and we got into it because I was pretty clear. I thought the Yankees bullpen was a major, major issue. And they said, no, I don't think it was. Well, let's talk about it again. 2 collapses, especially on Sunday when they're up 4-0. A no-hitter against probably the best offense and the best team in baseball currently in the Boston Red Sox. Domingo Germán in a fantastic, fantastic performance. And go figure, the Yankees bullpen blows it again. So we are approaching 3 days away from the MLB trade deadline. A lot of news, a lot of rumors going on. The Yankees made an offer for Trevor Story. We don't know the offer. But I'm going to ask the simple question. After this weekend's performance, being down 9.5 in the AL East, should the Yanks be buyers or sellers? Joe, I'll start with you.
Well, they should probably be sellers at this point. I think I hate to say this, but I think Aroldis Chapman is probably the number one guy that you're going to get some sort of valuable assets for the future for. You've certainly look, the bullpen hasn't been great. He's been a big part of the problem of late. I don't know that this team realistically has a chance. You know, if this team gets lucky, they'll win the second wild card. I don't see a rosier outlook than that. So, you know, you can double down and add a relief pitcher and go out and get Sterling Marte or whoever you want to man center field. I don't know that any of that changes this. You're 9.5 behind Boston. You're 8.5 behind Tampa. You're only a game up on Toronto, who's playing pretty good baseball. So there's a lot of teams that the Yankees are trying to claw past. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, unless they're going to get Max Scherzer and Story and Marte, this team's pretty much dead in the water as far as
now, has your view changed from this past weekend? Did you feel the same coming in maybe on Friday, or have you been feeling this way for some time now?
Well, you know, look, I said this Boston series was going to be huge, and they could have won the series. Instead, it went completely the opposite way. And so, yeah, I mean, I have to reevaluate things. Okay. You know, if you look, the Yankees could have realistically left Boston 5 back. That's what could have happened with a big series with Tampa and then a little lighter schedule coming up. You'd have been pretty primed and feeling good about things. 9.5. And again, you've now lost 10 of 13 to Boston. You can't beat Tampa. You've struggled with Toronto. So the 3 teams that you need to ward off between you can't beat them. How are you going to surpass them in the standings? You only play Baltimore and Minnesota a set amount of times the rest of the year. Where are the wins coming from? I just don't see it. It sucks, but I don't see it.
See?
I think just like that video I sent you yesterday, you and Joe in the Messenger, they're a 4-game above 500 team. That's what they are, plain and simple. Are they going to be sellers? They probably won't go big sell. Joe's probably right. Chapman's probably a guy. Here's the way. The only way the Yankees are really going to be sellers is if they get blown away with a deal. I think other than that, the Yankees maybe they'll probably sign another guy, make a trade for someone small, like patchwork. You're putting duct tape on a big wound that eventually is going to rip off. I say they only make a trade if they have a great deal, and understandably, because they don't really need to sell and they don't really need to buy. I mean, like Joe said, you look at this series this weekend, Thursday night's game, I believe we talked about. Was that Friday or Saturday? We talked about, who knows? The weekend was a blur. That's how it felt with the Yankees.
That's how the Yankees.
I mean, listen, I think we did the show Friday. Yeah, we did.
Yep.
And I said I thought Thursday's loss was the worst game of the season, and then Friday, they have Devers and Bogarts and JD Martinez, and we don't. Plain and simple. There are three guys. Hit the ball more consistently than our guys. I mean, I think you said a quote, Odor might be our best hitter right now, or at least consistent. I mean, that's saying a lot, all right, for a guy that's really not supposed to be your everyday starter. Then you get Saturday's game. We pull off the stunner. We pull off 4 runs with 2 outs in the 8th inning. We're like, all right. You're like thinking, man, if you won Thursdays, that's 2 out of 3, and then Friday's game. Sunday's game. Definition of the Yankee season. A no-hitter through 7 innings. You pull him on.
They're going to
whatever. 7. I don't think it was a full 8, though. It wasn't a full 8.
So and then what does Boone do? What does Boone want to do? And this is where we've been talking about for years now. I think the analytics have killed the New York Yankees, just like the analytics killed the Tampa Bay Rays last year in the World Series because they took out Blake Snell when they had a golden opportunity. Maybe he was dealing, and what do? They go with the analytics. This analytics has destroyed the Yankees, and why it's finally catching up to them.
But just look at this. I mean, look at this series in a nutshell. I mean, definition of the season: up and down. I mean, left and right. I mean, 1 minute you think you're winning the match, the next thing you know, you're knocked out on the thing, and you're in a 10 count, and then you knock him out. I mean, Thursday's game I thought was a tone setter because you win that one, you're on a roll, 10 out of 13. All right, maybe Yankees pull out one Friday. If not, the Red Sox win Friday. Who cares? Whatever. Devers hit 2-3 bombs. We don't score enough runs. Definition of the Yankees when Cole pitches. Saturday, hey. I mean, okay, we got that one. I mean, that's unbelievable. We're due for one, right? I mean, everyone else gets it on us. Why can't we get a piece of the action? And then Sunday, like I said, no hitter, pull a guy, we give up 4 runs. Just the way they lose again. This team is not a playoff team. Curling constructed, they're not a playoff team. There's too many excuses. There's too many issues. Trev, I thought you were wrong. You're right. The bullpen, which was our bread and butter, and
can you guys somewhat agree with me? You don't have to fully agree, but seeing 2 games, the way they lost, knowing that this was the backbone to this team for years, and even throughout the 90s and all this,
it's a problem.
To see this happen twice, where they have a golden opportunity to kind of catch up. I mean, it looks like it's still out of grasp, but 6 games back with the way Boston and Tampa have been playing this year. But to see 2 potential games in your hands just go away, just evaporate. That's how fast it's, like, literally because of this bullpen.
I saw a tweet this morning that, going back to the Chapman blown saves, the Green blown save, the other Green blown save, Brooks Kriskey's 4 wild pitch game. If you take those out, the Yankees are 2 back of Boston.
Oh, you mean throughout the season, Joe? 4 or 5 games.
If none of those blow-ups had happened, we'd be 2 back right now.
A couple on Sunday Night Baseball,
too. If I send you the stat, what was it that they had on the yesterday? Hold on, I'm going to make sure I have it correct. Third loss this season after holding a 4+ run lead in the 8th inning or later, tied for the most in a single season franchise record. All right, that's 3 more wins. All right, 2 or 3 of them are against the Red Sox. So instead of 9.5, you're 6.5. Here's the other thing, which is crazy to still think about. We're only 3.5 out from Oakland, from the second place wild card. So it's not out of
the Yankees shouldn't even be allowed to be in the playoffs this year.
I don't have any expectation for the Yankees no more. I don't. I think this.
But you know what? Slow down.
Joe, hold on. You used to say this one thing, and now you used to say that Yankee fans think that every time we just walk on the field with the pinstripes, we're supposed to win the game. Our expectations are blown out of the waters. This team's not living up to them, and it just has not formulated the way we all Yankee fans think. Because this is not the '96 Yankees. This ain't the '99 Yankees, 2000, or the '09 Yankees. This is not that team, and there's going to eventually. after the season, we're going to have to cut it open and fine-tune some new things.
Joe?
I do think if this team wins the wild card, they could do some damage.
If Kluber and Severino come back.
Yes.
With Montgomery and Cole.
But again, right, Ted, there's no scenario where they don't come back and it happens. So they need those two. They have to pitch.
I wouldn't be surprised September 1st. They're right around 2 or 3 games.
Joe, let me ask you this. You say that if the Yankees did get the wild card somehow, the second wild card, what would change your mind about saying they would be scary in the playoffs? What would change your mind seeing how they've been playing the whole entire season?
Listen, plain and simple, in any 5 or 7 game series, I know everyone's underperformed, short of Aaron Judge. No one's living up to what we thought they were going to do. Not even Garrett Cole for that matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Right. I mean, they've won about half his starts. If I told you that going into the season, you'd have been like, oh, we're having a bad year. Yeah, we are. That's how bad it is. As well as he's pitched for the most part. Again, only this team could have a no-hitter in Boston in the 8th inning and find a way to lose. And I'll say the other thing, too. Speaking of the Red Sox.
Up 4, not even 1 run, up 4.
Literally since 1999. Personally, I feel like every time the Yankees are in Boston, if they have a lead, I'm worried.
Oh, yeah.
If they're trailing late, I'm like, oh, I like it. It's a bizarre thing. You remember the Yankees were down.
You're not wrong. I know exactly what you're saying because I'm more scared of them being down 3 or 4 runs because it's sad to say this. I almost feel inevitably that they are going to lose the game. I don't know why. It's a bugaboo. Listen, I'll tell you the one thing. The Yankees, we've been watching for a while. The Yankees have never been the same against the Red Sox since that World Series. And they have the aura over the stadium on us. I feel like they come in the Yankee Stadium, they play more confident than we do sometimes. We just consistently had a better team than they have because they go through these things where we talked about. They win the World Series next year. They finish last in the division. It's like, if you're a Red Sox fan,
Joe, did you watch that clip of Don LaGreca? I mean, I'm glad that Don LaGreca said that about Aaron Boone. Like Aaron Boone comes to and this is what I've been saying about the whole year. Like Aaron Boone just comes to the post game conference and just says, "Yeah, we're trying to take a game at a time. We're trying to be better." Look, Aaron, you got to look in the mirror as this team does, and you got to say this team is not good. We stink. We're not a good team. And your ass is your ass is on the line because sooner or later you're going to be let go of. And it's frustrating to see. And I said that with like the manager. Maybe the players feed off of the manager because he's nonchalant. He's as Don calls him, and I think 100% since day one, he's a puppet. He's a freaking puppet. He's a yes man. Hence why he got the job, because he's an analytic guy. And that's why the Yankees are in the situation that they are right now, clawing to find offers, try to get big name players like Trevor Story, Max Scherzer, Trey Turner, just names you've been hearing around. And that's what they're trying to do because of the New York Yankees. They could try to go over the tax and go get everybody because that's what they do. But this team, it doesn't matter what they do. Would I love to see Trevor Story in pinstripes? 100%. It's not going to make them into World Series contenders. There's a lot more issues going on in this team, and it starts with the manager, it starts with the coaching staff, and the players are feeding off of it, and that's why the Yankees are in the situation that they are, and that's why the Boston Red Sox are one of the best teams, if not the best team in baseball, because yes, Alex Cora, I can't stand as a manager and didn't like him as an analyst or a player, but damn it, they feed off of what he's been doing. The Astros, they feed off of what Dusty Baker's been doing because it's me against the world attitude. Aaron Boone comes in, oh, well, we're trying our best. We're doing the best we can.
Can you imagine
the reason why they stink right now? And that's why we keep talking about them for the negative reasons. We haven't been – I can't remember, honestly, guys, that we've had a show where us three have talked positive about the New York Yankees.
You know, I was just thinking about that. While you ran and raving, I think about Alabama football. I was just thinking about consistency, right? Greatness. You listen to Nick Saban, they win a game by 3 touchdowns, and he's talking about a bad foul or a drop pass or a miss thing, and you're like, Coach, we just won again. We're like 10 in a row. And he's like, and he bashes his players. Now, I know college is a whole different level, and I don't expect Boone to have a tirade on the podium. But can you imagine? He might actually get a round of applause from Yankee fans if he just said, I'm just sick of it. We're not hitting. Like, just have a freak out. Pretend like you just got a third strike called on you guys 10 feet outside the box, and you got to yell at the umpire. Because I'll tell you, everyone, you want to keep it even calm. You know what I mean? You want to have that sense of comfortability. Yeah. Once in a while, a freak out is to shake it up. You ever seen like some parents or people who like, I remember true story. I know Ralph's parents, the nicest people in the world, always calm. I remember seeing Mr. Valenti freak out one time, and I was like, called me off guard. I was like, damn, he yells.
That's what they need. That's what
like
they
I almost
need.
like a shock in the system. I don't know. I mean, I think if I ever, I feel like seen Joe get crazy.
I can see Joe going nuts.
Me, dude.
I can see him going nuts on the wiffle ball field.
Well, actually, we see him get nuts on the microphone. Remember, it was like 2 weeks ago. He was just letting it rip, and you and me were like,
"It's a beautiful thing." The Yankees
my wife literally came down here and yelled at me.
Joe, you got one more thing on this Yankee stuff?
I do. I'm going to actually throw just 2 quick numbers out at you. Jonathan Loáisiga became the 3rd Yankee this year to have an inning where he gave up 4 runs and 4 hits without retiring a batter. That had never happened more than once to any Yankee in a season in their history.
And he's got great stuff, supposedly.
Here's the other big number. The Yankees have scored 5 runs in an inning 5 times this year.
Nice.
That is the lowest in baseball. The Marlins have done it more times than the Yankees have.
How many games have they won of those in?
Yeah, right.
They're 0-5.
They're 0-5.
Joe, when you said that, I thought you were going to say they're the only team to score 5 runs in and be up by 5+ runs and lose the game every time. Well, that's what's crazy about this team.
It's been that type of year.
Like if it's not one thing, you're like, okay, so they had COVID. Then you had like Kluber and Severino's injuries. All right. Then you got the sticky thing. Then our bullpen stinks. It's like, wait, the one thing we were like, the foundation of our house was saying the foundation is crackling and the house is starting to slide.
I'm glad you brought up the foundation because there looks like there is something brewing in Green Bay and the foundation looks like it could be coming to an end. And Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams posted something the other day on Instagram, a little tweet, a little picture of The Last Dance, and got us thinking, is this going to be Rodgers' last dance with the Green Bay Packers, nearing his new agreement, or is he going to be becoming a Packer for life? No. Ted, you started off. Here's the details of the deal. I took a picture of it. So it's the final year of his contract. 2023 would be voided.
Be a free agent.
Yeah, Packers agree to review Rodgers' situation. So it kind of seems like, yes, they got the MVP back. Yes, he won
the deal.
But he still kind of wins the deal.
He wins the deal. He gets all his money. He gets to be a free agent after this season, which is exactly what he wants to do. And any decision that gets made by the Packers organization during this year between trades and whatnot have to run through Aaron Rodgers. Plain and simple. He's got the last call. It's his show. All right. You want it, you got it. You're going to get the MVP back, and it'll be the last dance. And then next year he'll be playing in a new uniform for a new team, and it'll be his choice. All right, plain and simple. This is Rodgers gets what he wants. The Packers couldn't go through this training camp with no Rodgers there. It was going to be it would be too much for that organization, that team to handle. This is not like things that happen to the Dallas Cowboys where it's just like, hey, every day of the mill down there. This is going to be their last dance. It'll be the first time a Green Bay Packer will play a 17th season with the team. Brett Favre and Bart Starr were both 16 years, remember? And we thought this was going to be the last run. Listen, they have a golden opportunity. Trevor, I was thinking about this on the way over when I was rushing to the house. They had Mike Silver on with Colin. Packers have never really gone all in with Aaron Rodgers and Davante in like this window. You know what I mean? Like you get like a 4 or 5 year window where you got to stack and go for it. If you don't get it, it's a failure. Kind of like what the Rams have been doing the last couple of years. They still realize they have their core is still there. Chandler Jones wants to trade out of Arizona. Try to go get him. Go give a first-round pick and maybe a player. You need extra pass rushers. He's a guy that's been one of the best pass rushers in football in the last 5 years. Just make a move, right? You know you're losing Aaron Rodgers anyways. Go do something like that.
You're losing Davante Adams too.
Well, I think he's going to resign because they're saying now.
That's a question.
Well, because Davante Adams situation. If you read the thing yesterday, Davante Adams now negotiations have begun. He had canceled negotiations, want to wait to the end. Now with what Rodgers did too, beneficial to the Packers is he also gave them salary cap space to the end of this season and going forward, which allows them to continually to build so you don't leave them out to dry. I think the Packers have a really good chance to be the number 1 seed again this year. Just listen to me out, and then you do your thing, so I don't rant and rave for too long. They got an easy division. One thing, they got an easy division. The Bears are going to be starting a rookie quarterback by week 6. I don't trust Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings, and Detroit will be going for the number 1 pick next year. Plain and simple. They should win their division easily. Yeah. You look at Tampa Bay; they're a veteran team. Yes, the Saints will be a little bit down. Atlanta will be better. Carolina will be better. But here's the other thing I think differently. Bruce Arians and Tom Brady will probably be sitting out week 16 and 17 or playing a first half. They won't care about the games. Like it won't be I got to go 17-0. Bruce Arians will take his time and make sure that his team is fully healthy, ready going for the playoffs. That's why I could see them being the 2 seed again and coasting. And the Packers going forward again and making it all up. Knowing that this is Aaron Rodgers last year. You got to So with that being said, I told you Rodgers would be back. I told you he'd be playing for the Packers. It's inevitable. It was too much.
Don't make it seem like it's inevitable. It was still up for debate. You can't say
I said from day one he wasn't getting traded. He wasn't getting traded because.
No, but that's the thing. Yeah, they might have not been, but maybe Rodgers, because he's that type of player. He's an outspoken guy, and he shows his frustration. Joe,
the Packers were going to hold his foot to the fire.
You came out last week with your top 10 players facing the most pressure. How much more pressure is Aaron Rodgers on now, knowing that this could be his final season, possibly in Green Bay? How much more pressure do you think is going to be on Aaron Rodgers?
Well, he has to have a great season, and he has to deliver, and he has to win this division, and he has to take this team to the conference championship and lose again. He has to do all of those things. That's what.
But does he have to win a Super Bowl now?
No, he doesn't have to. Why would anybody expect Aaron Rodgers to get and win a Super Bowl? That's not how this works, and we all know it. And we could pretend that it doesn't, but this is a guy that can get to a conference championship. The one season where he won it all, that was a million years ago.
I could see them winning it. I could see them winning it.
They could, and that to me that's the
and
best
then we'll
scenario
like this.
Yes, and it's the best scenario for all parties involved.
Absolutely, win-win.
They get what they need to send him wherever he wants to go, and he gets to leave on top.
And think about that, Jeff. Now he becomes a free agent, and think about Aaron Rodgers as a free agent, going anywhere he wants.
It would look real good in that blue uniform.
Tell you know what else?
Come over to the Big Apple, baby.
I'm telling you. Listen, because if he, like Joe said last week, if he doesn't have a good season, not that you wouldn't trade for it, but think about he walks off as a Super Bowl guy. Every team that doesn't have Mahomes and Russell Wilson, maybe Tampa Bay would go for Rodgers and say, Brady, thank you very much. I'll take Rodgers.
Joe was hoping that was going to be Brady last year. Win, go off into the set. Said no, Brady's just going to keep on winning, right, Joe?
He has to keep on winning again. Otherwise, dude, what happens if, let's say, Brady plays 3 more years, no more Super Bowls,
3 more years, okay,
and then he retires? It's going to be like, oh,
where do we see this Green Bay Packer team in the NFC conference? And where do you?
I just told you where I thought. I thought top 2 team. It's them in the Tampa Bay.
Think they're better than the Rams?
Because here's the thing. I look at the NFC West. All 4 teams are really good. And all 4 teams could win that division if things go right. And that's why I think listen, not that they wouldn't be good enough to be one, but I think when your division is so good, especially in football, this ain't baseball, you're going to beat up, and you could have 3 teams with 10-7 records, or 11-6 records. Mm-hmm. Where Green Bay is going to have an easier division, have a better opportunity to be a 1 seed. But how could you not look at this team? They bring pretty much everyone back. How could you look at it? They got Aaron Jones back, who was one of the best running backs in football. They have the best receiver in Devontae Adams. They have the MVP. I mean, the guy doesn't throw picks. I mean, and their line will be back. And their defense will be back, and maybe they'll be more motivated after last
2 years. You know what his stats are the last 2 years? He has 98 touchdowns and 9 picks.
Daniel Jones has 9 picks by week 8.
That's
that's hilarious.
Go on, Joe.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm with Ted. I think Green Bay is one of the top 2 teams. You could bring up the Rams. I'll get back to me in week 5. I'll let you know how Stafford's doing, and I'll reassess and tell you how good or bad I think the Rams are. I mean, I know everybody loves Matthew Stafford, and if he's on a good team, and maybe, I mean, I'll assume that that's probably going to be the case, but I still need to wait and see that. I need to wait and see if Matthew Stafford, if all that time being a loser in Detroit hasn't broken his spirit. I don't know that. I don't know that he knows what winning feels like. It's been a really long time since he's won any kind of a meaningful game. And there's a lot on the line for the Rams. They're investing a lot, thinking this is the guy that's going to get them back to a Super Bowl and win it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure on Matthew Stafford for sure. Again, for a guy who's never been in an ideal situation to suddenly be in one, it seems like it would be easy. He's just going to go out there and throw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. Maybe he will.
Because every one of his divisional games is going to be great. Think about the 2 games against the 49ers, Seattle, and Arizona are going to be massive games. Then he's on like 6 primetime games. I mean, to be able to have to win more than like 4 games a year is – no Cam Akers, and that's your starting running back. That's even more pressure.
We're all on the boat that this is going to be the final season of Aaron Rodgers in a Green Bay Packer.
Makes perfect sense. Why would he come back after all the nonsense?
How about this? What's the only way Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay? Is if it wins the Super Bowl? Or is he still not? You just see him.
No, I think he's not coming back. There's no way he's coming back. That's why this deal is set up for him to be contract to be voided. Listen, it's not about the money. Supposedly, Schefter said that the deal that the Packers were offering Rodgers was close to the type of money that Lionel Messi gets.
Well,
big
money.
Big money. So, listen, the Packers would pay him anything he really wanted. Let's be honest. That's what he means to that franchise. It's not about that. The last time he was on the field, the coach took the ball out of his hands in 4th and goal. So This is the last ride. He's gonna go down with the ship, whatever happens, and more power to him. Listen, he's got to say, you know what? Why can't once I have a say in whatever I want to do and be a free agent?
Well, he's made it clear that he wanted what he wanted, and he got.
And I would have listened, and I could see him pulling Joe's scenario that what he wanted Tom Brady. I could see him winning a Super Bowl and say, "Yeah, adios amigos, I'm good."
Brady's winning another Super Bowl, and he's just gonna keep winning, right, Joe?
I hope so.
He's going for 9.
It'd be weird if it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
But I'll put it this way: you look at both divisions. Both conferences. A lot of great teams. That NFC West. I can see the 49ers being the best team in football this year. If Jimmy G stay healthy, they're going to have all their help, all their guys back. If Kittle's healthy, Bo's back. Their offensive line is really good. Their defensive line is one of the best in football. They just signed Fred Warner. They have one of the best coaches in football.
We'll see what happens. Right?
And here's the thing: imagine
said
Jimmy
the word
G
right there.
And having Trey Lance in a package every game that you have to, as a Taysom Hill package, where you don't know when he's coming.
What did you say, Joe?
Healthy. There's so many good teams this year. There's so many teams that have a chance. Teams that stay healthy will compete. Teams that lose guys. The Cam Akers thing, let's be honest, that's pretty big.
That's a major loss.
It's a big shot for them, especially for a guy coming in, learning the offense, trying to get a good command on. Again, we know he's got the skills, but he's already down one weapon. A big one. A guy who was supposed to be a real impact guy for them this year.
He could have been one of the top running backs in fantasy if you're a fantasy guy.
Fantasy purposes.
Dude. Everybody's been all about that guy in the fantasy.
Because he had big games in big actual games. He had great stats in some of the big games. He carried them.
Let's close out the show with the other quarterback that was talked about pretty much this entire offseason. That got kind of a little quiet because, he's been MIA, and it's Deshaun Watson. Well, the Texans are finally saying we're open to trading him. For months, we heard he was not going anywhere. Deshaun Watson is untouchable. He will be a Houston Texan. Well, then Deshaun Watson got into a little mess and this ongoing situation that we don't know about. We don't know the full details still going on. What's going to happen to Deshaun Watson?
Well,
is he actually going to play this season? Is he going?
I've learned some interesting details, and I don't know if you guys are. Let me give you the latest from what I've heard. So there were 22 women, 22 accused. Yes. Now, 10 women have actually gone and filed police reports against him.
Yep, I saw that.
8 of the women are from the 22, right? And you could say, well, they're looking at sue or settle. 2 of the other ones didn't. They just filed police reports. They haven't contacted a lawyer. They're not looking for civil suits. They just want this guy penalized for what he did in a criminal sense. That's bad news for Deshaun Watson right there. And if I'm Houston and I hear that, I'm open to trading Deshaun Watson because
that's the thing.
He's going to play this whole year because understand this. I mean, short of an arrest warrant, and I don't see this playing out.
The hearings don't start till next February.
Depositions for the women start in September. He won't be deposed until after the Super Bowl. Not that that's going to be an issue for him. He'll be around for it. He'll be very free that week. But yeah, his problems won't really start again. I mean, unless one of these women has some solid evidence and brings it to the police, he's going to be able to play this season. Now, I mean, here's the thing though. If you're Houston and you're trying to shop him, what do you think you're getting for him?
Well, you know what they have.
At least they want 5 draft picks.
Oh, I understand that, but here's the thing.
They want a couple caliber players.
It's possible that next training camp he could be in prison.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you 5 draft picks for a guy who might be in jail next year.
Listen, I'm not giving you anything.
Hold on. That's what I'm saying more about. It's not about the Texans. It's about these teams like the Eagles, the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Broncos, just some teams that we've been hearing throughout this entire offseason that have been associated with Deshaun Watson or connected, I should say, with Deshaun Watson. Would any of these teams be willing, screw the draft pick, or give up that much for a guy that, like you said, Joe, could potentially be in behind jail?
No one's making a move until the NFL does. The NFL hasn't even fully investigated thing. This has all been outside of the box. NFL hasn't thing. Teams have to know if he's going to be suspended for 2 games, 4 games, 8 games, a season. No one's making a trade for him until the NFL makes a move on him. No one's going to sit on. Because here's the thing. You don't. First of all, who's really trading for him right now? Who really needs Deshaun Watson? A good team that really needs Deshaun Watson. Now, I'm talking a bad team who's going to be drafting a quarterback next year.
I mean, a team that's like in a win-now situation.
Give me the team right now that's trading for Deshaun Watson.
The Broncos or the Dolphins?
The Broncos winning the Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson? No, waste of time. They're not beating the Chiefs and the Chargers. I don't care. They're still the third best team in that division.
They'll beat the Chargers.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
Again, I think to Ted's point, I mean, do you trade if you're the Broncos? Do you trade for Deshaun Watson to win the wild card with the idea that you may have blown 5 picks? 5 picks for a guy who, like I said, by March could be in prison. How hard up could the Broncos be to try to win a championship in that scenario?
Let's see.
How should the Texans handle this situation, knowing that he's coming to a training camp now because he doesn't want to get fined the money?
$50,000 each day. You can't get it back.
It's $50,000 a day that he would be getting fined. So how should they handle that situation? Should they, because the media – you know how the media plays nowadays. When you have situations like this, they're all over it. You're going to have the microphones. You're going to have the cameras, the cell phones all over you. How should the Texans How should the Texans handle this situation, knowing that they're not going to trade him right now because people you're pretty much waiting to see what the NFL is going to do first before anything with legal situations go into. So how should the Texans handle this situation, knowing that he's going to be attending training camp and knowing that he'll be a distraction, a major distraction, I should say, too? How should they handle that?
Well, here's the thing, Trev. The plaintiffs would be disposed before Watson, who can't be disposed before February 22nd of 2022, per the court schedule. All right? So he can't get touched until after February, which means after the Super Bowl, like Joe said.
That's not 100% true.
Unless something.
Again, it's not 100% true.
Hold on.
This is all a civil case.
Yeah.
This is where basically a money settlement or some kind of reward would happen where he'd pay millions.
You read that article on ESPN?
Yeah.
You saw that one by Sarah?
Yeah. Yep. So, but here's the thing. It's the criminal part that you have to be concerned about. this case with the lawyer and his guys, Rusty Harden, they're going back and forth, a lot of crap talking, blah blah blah. That's gonna eventually either settle out, or they're gonna have a trial. He'll probably lose, and they'll award those 22 women $45 million to split amongst them. That's what'll happen. My fear, and like I said, the part that concerns me and the part that would put him behind bars is, and like I said, these last two women are not joining the civil lawsuit. They're not looking for money. They filed police complaints. If the police can find that there's evidence and probable cause, they could arrest Deshaun Watson tomorrow and put him in jail. And that would be that'd be a whole separate thing to the trial that we're talking about now. This would be a criminal matter in a criminal court. And again, if you're guilty there, you're going to prison
for a while.
No, Trev, you said something about the Texans, right?
They should. He should be on the suspended list pending the NFL's investigation. And I'll tell you what, if they didn't learn anything from the Ray Rice situation, this could be, because we don't know what happened. The details are going to come out during either a civil case or worse, in a criminal case. It's going to be a black eye for the Texans. It's going to be a black eye for Deshaun Watson, no matter what happened.
Yeah.
It's going to be a black eye.
And that's what I was trying to interrupt. That's what I was going to say. It's not you. Your question was, what do the Texans do? It's not even on the Texans. What does the NFL do? Because it was talked about yesterday. Nothing's going to happen to him, but he's going to go through training camp. He would be your starting quarterback. But on week 1, are you allowing him to play football when you're an NFL league that now you want to be part of the Black Lives Matter thing? You want to be against domestic abuse. You want to be part of this. You can't be like part of the Mothers Against Drunk Driving and then be the mother leading the pack on drunk driving and bar hopping. I'm like, it's going to look bad for you if you let him play, but you can't. It's a tough situation because he hasn't really been fully convicted. So you're almost saying he's guilty before innocent.
My whole thing with the whole Texans thing is just having him attend training camp, knowing that he's going to be a major distraction for a team that, well, let's be honest, not many people really care for coming into this season because we know they're going to be a very bad team. Other than having Deshaun Watson, that's all the reason why people are going to come see the Houston Texans in the sense of cameras, the media, because of Deshaun Watson. So when I meant by the Texans in the sense of, should they just say, just stay away? Why would another organization want? I know. I understand.
You know what?
Fully understand.
I brought this up, Trev, because I disagree. There are franchises. Let's put it like this.
No, there are franchises that
if Dallas didn't have Dak, they would have already traded for Watson. They love convicts. They love troublemakers. They love guys who are on their way to jail. He'd be a cowboy right now for sure.
Listen, here's the thing, and Joe makes it funny, but here's the thing. When some organizations care more about winning than they do doing the right thing. So if it meant bringing in a guy, like how many times did Adam Pac-Man Jones and other guys, if it meant that he can make your team better, listen, the Eagles here's the only thing is, we've seen this before. The Philadelphia Eagles, and they did a really good job, if you watch the documentary, when they brought in Michael Vick to get him into the community to work things out. Now that's different. That was dogfighting, but some people would say dogfighting is a lot worse than what Deshaun Watson did. I love dogs, right? In some people's minds. So he served his due though. He was actually in jail and came back, and the Eagles allowed him. So it's not like we haven't seen this before. It's just listen. Anytime you go through this and you're the star quarterback, it's a touchy thing. It puts it tougher. Because here's the other thing. At the first and foremost, the NFL is a business, number one. Then it's an entertainment thing. If God forbid they ever lose sponsors because of stuff. You listen, owners.
That's where the problems start happening.
Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't because the NFL will do a good job of patching it up and covering. But listen, it could take one sponsor to drop out to get someone else to do, and it could change the game. And the NFL goes, nope, he's suspended indefinitely until we can find out further notice. That's how he can play the first 2 weeks. And September 26th, we're talking. Well, there was this other stuff came out, and now he's suspended for the rest of the season. Imagine that. He's out of the play.
Will Deshaun Watson be the quarterback week 1, playing week 1 for the Houston Texans?
Only way he isn't is if the NFL suspends him. Other than that, he'll be on the field playing week 1.
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, again, short of there being an arrest warrant in a criminal case, then yeah, he's solid till February before the real trouble's going to be. So, I mean, if you're the Texans, you're not going to be able to move him. You're certainly not going to get the value that you want for him. If he beats the case or settles somewhere along the way, and it's been relieved of him, poor choice of words, then the sky's the limit. But yeah, no, I think this is, and again, and when I brought up the OV line, we're Giants fans. The Giants wouldn't touch Deshaun Watson with a 10-foot pole. If the Texans called tomorrow, we're like, we'll take Jones straight up for Watson, the Giants would say no.
No,
it would be a non-starter. They don't go there. And a lot of franchises wouldn't touch a guy like this. But you know which teams would? I already mentioned Dallas, but New England would. The Chiefs would. There's a lot of teams. The Raiders would.
I think the Rams would.
The Ravens would.
Teams that have strong veteran leadership and have a strong-minded head coach and a respect in an organization through the league, the towns, like the Ravens are very well respected. Right, the Patriots are very well. Now you would say I can't stand the Patriots, I hate them, but through the community, I think they're very well respected. You know what I mean? You don't see. I couldn't see him going to Cleveland. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't see him going to Washington.
Listen,
as much as Miami would be a thing, I don't think Miami would even be a thing because they don't have the strong community and backing that I think other organizations represent.
And I'll tell you why I think Denver's a no-go for Deshaun Watson. It's a very liberal town, and you would have a really hard time, especially after a trial where he's going to probably have to admit he acted inappropriately. How are you going to tell the people of Denver that this guy's cool? It's not the right city for this to happen in. I don't think Denver. I mean, again, it's a black eye. When the details of what he did comes out, no matter how good or bad it is, whatever I should say, whatever degree of severity it is, it's going to look awful on this team because they'll have known what happened. They'll know what the story was, and they'll have allowed him to play anyway. The NFL has done an amazing job of bringing in female fans over the last 20 years. There's a lot of women that love football.
And they're now officials.
And now you got officials. You got announcers.
There you go.
You got announcers.
You gotta renounce this sort of stuff, the domestic violence, people, this nonsense. We've seen this before.
They got to learn from their mistakes because in the past they have failed on that.
So imagine that Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers could be free agents next offseason on the market.
It's a lot.
If everything goes well for Deshaun Watson, with that being said, and if I'm the Texans, I don't want him to play. One, it's a black guy from my organization. Second, my team's not ready to win. Right. I want the number 1 pick next year. And then I want to trade Deshaun Watson next year after he gets relieved of all this duty. And I want to get 4 more picks. And within a year, I can rebuild my organization and team and be right back into a competitive organization like we were for the past 10 years.
The Texans should call Matt Schwab in. If somebody could get you 2 and 15, that's your guy.
Yeah, he'll throw 5 picks in a game.
Oh, come on. You know who they got to call? They got to call Mike Glennon.
He's busy.
He's busy as a New York Giant now. I'm surprised, Joe, you haven't worn a Mike Glennon New York Giant jersey so far.
It's on order.
They don't make it.
We'll see what happens. The boys of fall are officially back. A lot of football is about to be discussed on Keys to the City. I cannot wait. It's good to see football back. We'll be back Friday, and it's perfect because the MLB trade deadline is on Friday, July 30th. So we will be talking a trade deadline. Will the Yankees be making any moves? Will they be sellers? Will they be buyers? How about the other teams? The Padres making a big move, signing All-Star or trading for All-Star second baseman Adam Frazier, hitting machine this year. So the Padres are going all in. We'll see all the big names. Will Trevor Story get moved? Also, we're going to have our top 10 players list coming Friday. And then we're going to be we got to be making predictions and previews of who we got for the NFL season. A lot happening.
We're doing a preview for the NFL season now?
Well, in the next couple weeks. People are giving away the month
now. Season don't start till first week of September, right?
Why can't we do it?
Because I don't know who's going to be hurt and who's going to be traded.
Well, because you're an idiot. Anyways, we will be back Friday to be discussing all of that. We'll be back on Friday discussing all of the big news in the MLB and the NFL. We are Keys to the City. We're streaming on all social media platforms. So subscribe, comment, share, or like. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.